It's very true, and actually Black Dragons is very, very lucky. They only need 1 point in order to be completely out of relegation.
So they got to get this. They got to at least tie then.
Unless they have the tiebreak with MIBR.
Could be the case. We'll see where we're going to go, though. Clubhouse and Cafe. So the most popular map and the second least popular map already gone. Coastline, the least popular. Okay, all right. Well, they're taking those out. Bank as well, one of the other popular maps. Consulate gone, and we still have at least Villa left. I'm going to assume it's
Villa banned? Or are we going to Villa?
We're going to Villa.
We're going to Villa.
Border just not really that desirable at the moment, so
I can't blame them.
Yeah. I mean, this is a better map for Team 1 than it is for Black Dragons in terms of record, because Black Dragons, they played it twice against FaZe, both times. Lost both times. Team 1, on the other hand, have a draw and a win on it, so pretty good map for them. This is definitely their map pick in terms of where they want to be playing. But of course, you know, that does show things. Community vote, though, definitely favoring Team 1, and I agree with this here. I think this is about right. Maybe a little high, actually, for Black Dragons in terms of favoriting them, but they have a lot behind them.
It's going to come down to the aggression, and again, it is LATAM. That's what we're used to when we come down here and cast these games. It's that utmost aggression, and Villa's definitely a map that you can roam and get that aggressive playstyle on. All right, guys, it's Team 1. It's Black Dragons. Let's get into it here on Villa.
Map bans should be interesting. Could we see the Thatcher ban? And I'm sure if Kix was here, he'd be triggered just off of hearing a Thatcher ban on Villa after what we've seen before in Latin America from that. So hopefully don't get that.
That's always been the difficult thing for me, is if you're going to take something away, like a Thatcher, you're going to take Thatcher away, as Black Dragons will do, you definitely need to scrim with that and get things figured out to where it's, you know, cohesive. Not just, okay, we kind of just throw stuff everywhere and hope that it works. When you're taking stuff away, I hope that you've actually practiced with that not being available. Dokkaebi going to be the second operator, and that's just going to help out on the roam game, but that's also going to leave Jackal in.
And Line as well, so yeah, definitely going to be... I can imagine those might get played to try and shut down that roam, although we've seen just some weird ways to play this, but with the inability to breach well with the way that they were playing, you know, teams have been playing without the Thatcher, roam game even more important, because you deny a lot of those choke points that become established by having the hard walls there. But no, Echo going to be in place, so that's going to be important. And even more so for the roamers. The ability to use those Echo drones to be able to help the roamers out, I think will make a big difference. Obviously, Echo is immune to Dokkaebi, so that won't be a factor for him in terms of having a slight advantage there, but still going to be pretty important. That IQ definitely going to have to get played a lot here to counter the potential plays from the Echo. And Jackal, as you said, on the board, you got to play him here on this map.
Exactly. We're going to be going to Aviator Games first for the defensive Black Dragons. Bringing the Nomad as well, which he's actually extremely prominent on this map. We're actually already going to have a 6-pick off of the Maverick over to the Habana. So this is going to get a little bit more difficult, especially because, well, they don't have a Thermite, and GDN switched over to Kaid from Echo. So that's a big deal. It looks like Black Dragons might have gotten him with the old switcheroo.
I mean, I think it would have been better to have still both of those available. But yeah, the switcheroo definitely benefiting GDN much more, because he will be able to potentially trick those X-Kairos out, and without the Thatcher, try and deal with the Electroclaws. Could be problematic. Could even be played, I think, from downstairs in some positions to not have to necessarily expose it upstairs. They don't really have anything to deal with it. I mean, in theory, you could have, say, a buck from downstairs open up the floor and try and shoot it from below, but that's such a risky play that you're unlikely to see.
Well, even then, I mean, GDN as well as the Legion and Panico both have impacts, so they can just impact trick over. They're going to have to go for the low end of the panel with those X-Kairos, and then you also have to worry about Kaid with the electro charges. So it's going to be extremely difficult to get these walls open. Maverick obviously not having a counter makes it a lot easier, but I'm going to assume that they assumed that they were going to be going to Aviator Games first. Might have been worried about them opening up the paneling in front of the actual reinforced panels. Might have been just a little bit worried about that or something along those lines.
You definitely have to be concerned about that sometimes. In this case, though, it's all going to be about study and possibly a bedroom push for the attackers. This is really up to Lukid, though, not only to identify any of the gadgets he can deal with, but possibly even the Electroclaw position, if they want to try and counter that, but also the black eyes that are going to be super important for those roamers, trying to make sure that someone like Rise can just focus on the footprints, not have to worry about cameras when he's going on the roam hunt.
Doesn't look like they'll have to worry about much, possibly live on Rotate. They do have PZD upstairs near 90. Nothing to call home about just yet. Panic going to be across near Master, just setting up some reinforced barricades. Always nice for a good sound cue if you need one. That is one thing I've noticed recently with a lot of pro play, is that they use barricades a lot more than any other players do. And it's just for that sound cue, just so it makes you think about challenging that door instead.
And that's why I love seeing now some of the pro players even just breaking small parts of the bottom of the wood and then crawling through, just so they think they're secure in that. It's just that extra little bit of mind games. Much like the bullet hole stuff, we're starting to see the meta shifts over time with just fundamental features of this game.
Yeah, something that's been in the game for eons.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's being used at the highest tier competitive play.
I love that about this game.
It's fantastic. It's an extremely difficult game, a very high learning curve, but it's well worth it in the end.
A lot of cat and mouse. And of course, this cat and mouse here really going to be important for GDM with those electric claws. He doesn't have any in his pocket right now, so gotta imagine both those deployed already. And I don't see any electricity though, so it makes me wonder where those are at, because you see that one wall just destroyed to rotate through, of course, as it should be. And of course, he's got the shotgun to help with that. They are going to at least have one person tracked here, but it's most likely just going to be identified as inside sight. No, it looks like maybe on the other side of sight, potentially. Skadina taking a bit of damage here in 90. Not quite finished off yet, but Live is looking for the confirmation. Just going to take the opportunity to reload. Sound's going to be called out. And the PZD in the meantime, though, taking down Reduct. Looking pretty good for Black Dragons here as they, there we go, Live finishing it off and falls at low health.
Slow and steady wins the race, but a quick challenge from Gunval will claim one. All of a sudden down to Lukid after a couple misfired shots. Live's going to have quite a bit of damage done to him, but don't think it's going to be too much to call home for, especially with his 3 other remaining members on his team. One playing inside of 90, walking down the hallway so that Lukid cannot rotate. Weg going to get aggressive through Study, and that's going to be the first round going to Black Dragons.
This is generally considered a very defender-sided map, so it's not unusual to see, especially the warm-up round, as I kind of think of it. You know, when teams are just trying to feel each other out, try and see how things are going, does benefit the defenders even more, because they can be aggressive. They can look for opportunities, weaknesses in the attack, take advantage of the intel they have from things like cameras, even just sound cues by being able to sit in sight, because they can stay still a lot more than the attackers can, because the attackers really need to start looking for things, looking for opportunities, and every single one of those seem to be punished by Black Dragons. But Team 1 could be a little more warmed up now. The Jackal does help with that to an extent, but the Nomad really needs to make sure that those air jabs are in great positions to stop those rotates. Like, for example, you saw the Jaeger controlling 90. You cannot let things like 90 get taken over by the defenders. You need that map control early. But at least it's now Trophy. This is a site that's a little more attackable, especially when you're dealing with the Thatcher situation. It's doable here. But now they have the Echo. They brought the Echo and the Kaid this time. So that will definitely benefit them. PZD looking pretty good there. Could have given one to GDN to even things out for the team ace, but you know, he wanted to make sure he got it. So Team 1 gonna have to warm things up a little bit. We did see a pretty attack-heavy Villa earlier today in EU, so it's definitely doable to win attacks on this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen every single map under the sun at this point that we go, oh, it's defender-sided. Some team finds a way to make it offender-sided, like Clubhouse and Team Empire.
You never know, man.
Stuff like that. It's just crazy.
It's often, the funny part is it'll often be both teams doing it. It won't just be one. It'll always be just like both teams. And I think some of that comes down to operator bans, but it seems to be these like minor intergame meta shifts that we seem to see.
Yeah, I think that's something that isn't talked about enough, is just like these inter-team turmoils that we see, where it's just like, okay, well, if it's, you know, Team 1 versus Black Dragons, it's always going to be defender-sided because they're just run around the entire building or stuff, or stuff like that. You know
style definitely
exactly.
Into it.
Yeah, it's a big shift across those spectrums. PZD's already going to claim one. That's Rise, and that's Jackal. Extremely important, going to make the roam game a lot easier.
Yeah, it's all going to be on Nomad now to try and control that, and possibly the Buck just to play from below and hunt a little bit. But yeah, that was a big early kill for PZD. If he could kill Luca to keep his cameras safe too, that'd be an even better second one, but probably not going to happen here. But focus on either the IQ or the Nomad would be great next kills. The Maverick probably won't matter as much, to be honest. He's not going to be a huge impact in this. He might help get some walls open as needed or poke some holes in possibly the master bedroom wall. But it's all about astronomy, I feel like, for trophy takes. If the Echo can stay alive inside Astronomy, that's big for Black Dragons, but he's got to stay in there and they've got to hunt him down.
Extremely slow wind-up for the offense of T1 right now. Obviously, Rise already faltered off, so we still have 4 remaining members. Wag going to close off the rotate towards Astronomy. Good idea, so they're more than likely going to have control of that soon. So, as Master is still point of contact for Team 1 here. They've only been halfway through the round. No contact, really, all except for Jackal obviously dying early on here, but it's been a lot of solo plays so far for this offensive team. Need to try and get things a little bit more tight-knit, be able to help each other out with those refrags. Luke is actually going to be going all on his lonesome. Cancel that. Skadina going to be on the astronomy window.
That's a very important crossfire. You need that if someone's going to be trying to contest. Wow, live just gunning right now. That's the buck down. So now that is the downstairs play shut down. It's all about this upstairs coverage here. The Echo being allowed to stay alive. They finally take at least one yokai out here, thanks to help from Lukid trying to spot. You see the ping there, trying to get the right spot. Lukid finished up following it up there with a kill as well now. That's pretty big. I mean, at least one yokai down, one kill onto the Kaid. Things are starting to work out here, but they've only got 38 seconds left in Maverick, still opening up holes. Live finding a second one as well. Lukid really needs to frags up, but no, it falls apart at the last possible second as PZD and WAG just decimate the remaining members of Team 1.
Yeah, just not very much information for Team 1 at all, and this Dokkaebi ban might not have been the play for them at all.
No, especially after a much more impactful ban of the Thatcher. I don't think the Dokkaebi one really making that big of a difference here. I mean, if anything, it hurt themselves. It shut down one of their abilities to hunt down these roamers, and a lot depends on the Jackal. And you saw, for example, that round Jackal getting picked off early. Jackal could only do so much, and also for those of you who are not paying attention to the TTS, I know sometimes people stuff gets stuck in there. There's a big potential upcoming change to Jackal they're testing on there. Make sure to go test it out, give feedback, because we depend on you guys playing the TTS to bring that feedback. But it is not impacting Jackal just yet, and so he is still going to get played as much as possible because it's so dang useful.
The thing that I like right now is that Ubisoft is paying a lot of attention to what's being said about operators with, balance changes and everything else.
Also, the bans coming out in ranked. I think Jackal being banned so much in ranked.
He should be. I mean, he's free information. That's all he is. He literally just gets to walk in a building. Oh, you walk through open area, that's your fault.
I love how people think this is a game of combat when you just talk about kills, but it's such a game of information.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially the way they've added new operators that add to that. This is all about communication, information, and then capitalizing on that with that gun skill. But that is step 3.
All of the things that Team 1 is not doing right now.
And that is why they are Team 0 at the moment in terms of points.
Correct. All right, well, jumping into round 3 now, folks. Hopefully Rise can stay alive this time. Team 1 just not really having the cohesion that I have seen from them in the past. I casted them at the Vegas Minor quite a while ago, and they were actually extremely dominant, extremely aggressive playstyle, but again, expected from this region. We see a lot of that, but obviously we have the outliers. We have FaZe, we have Liquid, which are a little bit more kept together. Whereas with Team 1, it's, hey, we want our gunfights and we want them now, and more than likely going to win them. Just right now, they're not playing with a duo when they're trying to roam clear and things along those lines, and they're losing gunfights.
It's attack. Like, I feel like Team 1 side switch can come back if they get a little bit of a deficit here, but you need to win a couple on attack. You need at least the 2 is kind of the minimum we consider it. Like, so, yeah, it's less than half, but just by 1. That was close. You can't be risking that, but Live at least allowed to rotate off. So not a big deal. If anything, that's just going to make him a lot more threatened on that window, which is also important here because Falls now just unsure how to play that from there. They're really getting slowed down by this pushback from Black Dragons now. At least all the air jabs are up. You see 0 in his pocket, so he's going to have to now do some droning and hope his flanks are well covered. But the Mute Jammer is doing some good work here. Surprisingly, no Mozzie play. I feel like maybe Mozzie's not as in the meta in Latin America when I think about it as, say, Europe and North America. But he's such a good operator.
Yeah, it truly is. Well, halfway through the round now, absolutely no contact, all except for that burst from the SMG-11 earlier on from Live through the astronomy window, not staircase.
Through the staircase, wow.
Yeah, through the staircase.
Impressive.
Got him right through it. Oh, quick contact here, actually, over near laundry room. Live trying to battle back off that. Still has 2 toxic canisters on his person, waiting for someone to rotate up the pantry stairs. But again, Team 1 just do not seem to know how they want to attack this map at all.
No,
very slow goings. Yeah, very slow goings, and they just are not really working their information.
It's definitely something they need to work on here because you have Skadina, for example, just trapped in pantry. He's got the diffuser. He needs the pressure there so he can go for the plant, but Live is just going to deny him. Yeah, he gave away his position with the pre-fire and the smoke, but Skadina is not getting a lot of extra pressure here from Falls to help just yet. They're too spread out for a plant, and 40 seconds left, and there we go. Reduct down now. At least traded back onto WAG.
Yeah, but now they have to worry about literally everyone else. And GDN with this TCSG is definitely going to find himself a couple of kills. But now before Luke, it takes down one. Rise with the fire back, though, and all of a sudden they have man advantage. They're trying to find a will and a way. We don't exactly know how just yet, but Panic going to toss a Nitro Cell. Falls onto deaf ears, though. PZD fires back. All of a sudden knocks it down into a 2 versus 1. And Team 1 has their first round off of rotate. So, very interesting round that all of a sudden fell into T1's lap for some reason.
I place all the blame on Black Dragons. The reason I say that is when they had at least man advantage or equal man count, there was like 25 seconds left and Diffuser was down. The Diffuse planter Skadini had died, left the Diffuser near site or in site. Just play site at that point. They didn't have to go for those rotates, those peaks. They could have played a lot better at the end of that there and forced Team 1 on time to go into exposed positions. Instead, they acted like they were the ones under the clock, pushed themselves in those positions, and Team 1, yeah, just capitalized on that. Good on Team 1, though. Their patience actually paid off, but it absolutely could have gone the other way. And Team 1 need to work on that coordination and time management, their pinches, their intel. Like I said, Mozzie's not in play. Mute Jammers are only so effective. They should be doing a lot better on identifying the position of these players.
I completely agree with you, and I think the main thing for me, especially with T1 right now, is it's not like they aren't, you know, making an attempt with the information game.
Yeah,
because they're really not. Like, yeah, we see them bring the proper operators, but we really don't see any drone play. We don't see any drones in front of their entries. It's more or less face checks, and it's really not helping them out. Even with them trying to take site, Emzo, it's just like they don't even cut off rotations in between the two sites.
Yeah, we'll just go in pantry, and I'll just kind of push in at some point there.
Exactly.
They know you're there.
They're just not helping each other out.
No. Well, I mean, it's definitely possible here. Trophy, again, is still a difficult site to defend here. Or are they Trophy? Or
no, they're actually...
Because they can't be Trophy, yeah.
They just won.
They were just reinforcing the heck out of Trophy, though, and playing it, which is interesting. Surprised to see that much dedication to that side of the map. But yeah, this is it's still doable. But it's interesting to see Team 1 rotate between the hard breachers as well. We've seen them bring Habana first round, Maverick the second round, and then Thermite as well. And the Thermite is a good choice here, knowing that they bring the Kaid, but you still got to deal with them shotgunning the floors. You see them doing that right along the wall, and it's all about the electric claws tricking and impact tricking and things like that. So with the floor shot up like that, Thermite probably won't be able to do a whole lot for them. So maybe Habana might have been the better choice to try and get the very low X Kairos to at least expose their feet. Or even the Maverick was trying to do that on Trophy attack.
No, with this lineup that they have on offense, they're going to need to clear the basement. Jackal can help out a lot with that, and even if they forcibly push the roamers back and don't even get the kill, they have air jabs with the Nomad as well in Skadina. So they really don't have to worry too much about that roam clear.
Yeah,
they're not even really going for that first floor.
Important thing, though, is that air jab got onto 90 here. They actually have control of 90 this time. So yeah, you're right. This could happen. There's some impact tricking coming out there, doing some good work. That's the first of the Thermite charges taken out. I mean, you can't win at this game unless they goof their impact throw. That's it. Like, you're gonna lose both those, and Thermite was not the play.
What is this lineup? PZD might be going for a Nitro Cell over. Hops up on the couch.
Here it is.
Here we go. PZD.
He's waiting.
Tape
waiting
rip.
For the call out.
He's just waiting. Very intelligent to hold this in his hand instead so they can't hear the tape rip and try and back off.
Yeah.
I like the utility use here. Panic still trying to find him a target, but nobody on the other side. Redux actually going for the bar wall.
Here we go.
GDN's already lined
PZD.
in. Waits. Impact.
There
over.
it is.
Oh, but it's going to be PZD with the Nitro Cell, but he gets the wall open. That's really all that's needed. So he got his job done before he died, but the bad news is Diffuser's down inside of Study.
Yeah, he was, of course, going to be the Diffuse carrier being the hard breach, but that is trapped now. All they need to do is actually use this wall against him. Now that it's open, that's angles they can use to cover the Diffuser. That actually works against Team 1.
Oh, Skadina trying to battle for 90 control. He does still have that air jab on the wall, unless it got impacted, or possibly Nitro Cell, really can't tell, could not hear it. Going to stun up over, he gets it. Is he going to get the kill? Yes, he will. Live to fall. So no more Jaeger, but obviously the ADS is still down. Only 28 seconds left on the clock, and Rise will fall off as soon as Panic is able to secure the kill. Fall's now stuck all alone inside of Study, trying to challenge in through the bar wall that they soon open with a very nice shot. He's going to transfer it as well, and he finds two, as well as putting the Diffuser down, doing double duty, call it triple after those two kills. Doesn't have another Nitro Cell, though. Panic's going to have to try and shoot him through the floor, but he can't even find his target. second. Falls actually got off of the plant. He might be in trouble here as Wag is just trying to hold things down inside of Plains. He does still have control. Does he hear them inside of Gunvault? What a flick! Oh my goodness! A crazy shot goes wild and Falls will do as his namesake. Lukid and Skadina, the only two remaining offenders, though, as Wag has quite a bit of damage done to him after that gunfight. Panic trying to rotate through 90. Skadina seems to be on the delivering end, though, of possibly a shot that could win him the round. Again, no Nitro Cell, but he's going to be able to feed information to Wag. He's going to try and find him through the drone hole here. Wag might have to get aggressive. He's trying to find the angle. Challenges towards the door, but they're going to have to make quick work, and it's not going to happen for him. Team 1 finding their second round.
I love the placement of that diffuser, too. Just a perfect spot for them to cover because Gunvault is very hard to contest. You've got two different rooms to have to potentially fight with, and it was so deep into the room just at the Gunvault entrance there inside games. You're not going to get in there and do that unless you kill Skadina first and hope that the crossfire is in there from Lukid. Yeah, that's a tough spot to do. And unfortunately, the Pulse not having a C4 ultimately kind of cost them. He wasn't able to contest the defuse being planted from downstairs and then having to rotate back up. Yeah, he was able to feed information, but that air jab, like I said, was very important, though. Controlling 90, that really paid off for them because they weren't able to be pushed back from the site as much. And while he tried to play as best as he could, there's only so much you can do with that gun because, yeah, you can rip off shots, but you're going to have to reload a lot. I mean, unless he knew where they were positioned and could go for the pre-fire shotguns, it was going to be very difficult for him to contest so many angles. And the wall being opened up between sites actually works against him, again, right there. So, good play by Team 1, though. That was very close, but getting the plant down, that ultimately won them the round because they just put a tough position there for Black Dragons to come back from. And now they've got their 2 on attack, so they're actually in a decent position here on Villa.
Yeah, and you have to be very happy for Reduct there because he died for that wall to be open. So
sacrifice.
Yeah, the sacrifice worked. They were able to find their second round, and now they're in very hotly contested waters here between Black Dragons and Team 1. Especially on the offensive side. As we saw earlier on, they're having big trouble trying to get any offensive push onto the actual site.
Yeah.
The last round was basically gifted to them. We really don't know what happened with Black Dragons there. I'd love to understand the comms and really how that transcended.
To be fair, they were still planting the last second.
Yeah, it was very, very weird. But that round made a whole hell of a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if that can possibly continue on. Maybe, as you said, Team 1 just need a little bit of a warm-up.
They seem to be a lot more warmed up now, but it's still a little slow. And if BD can play a little more reserved in terms of when they use their aggression and give away kills, in a sense, to Team 1, I think they could play off time a lot better and force Team 1 into more rush situations at the end because that really benefited them the first 2 rounds, and that's something they're not doing as well now. I mean, for example, the angles being opened when you saw Reduct open the wall live, just as I'm saying that, he needs to get out of there at this point. You killed the drone, back off. There we go, he's getting droned again. They're going to trap him at some point if they can, but he's a Jaeger. Jaegers love to fight these kind of fights, and I don't think we're going to see an air jab, for example, get set up in time to really trap him, so he's out of there. And he's got backup here, of course, from the Legion of Panico. And that's what you like to see is when you're getting pressured out, you get the buddy system going and you set up for a trade if they somehow pinch you.
It's going to be a massive impact on their drone economy as well.
That's true. That's 2 at least gone.
A quick crash course on your guys' drone economy if you're wondering what I'm talking about. You only get 10 of those little pocket drones, those little roly-polyolis that we like to talk about. They're little, obviously, cameras that roll on the ground, but the offensive team only gets 10 of them. And obviously, since there's a limited quantity, there is an economy for it. And unless you have, the harder things get because you are denied information, unless you have people like Jackal to help you out.
And that is why those information operators matter so much, because drones, as you said, get shot. I mean, you can't stop Jackal's...
He's got 3 of them right there.
Yeah.
That's almost, a quarter of their drones.
Yeah, and not to mention, we don't know how many might have died from other shots as well, and they might be pretty low. PZD, though, with a nice camera, finally gets spotted, but at least he knows what they're up to in that room. That gives GDN some intel to work with to try and push against Master. He's hoping they push out into him, though. They are playing a little more smart and reserved this time. However, Team 1 are actually attacking with a lot more efficiency as well. They know what their objective is now, and unless they get pushed back here, well, actually, they have been pushed back a little bit, but they need to play time here a little bit better. They have denied the wall, at least being opened for now. Hearing an air jab go off as well, but it doesn't lead to a kill. That's the important thing here, is that is one air jab clearly let it go. Live as well, just trying to pressure this. This is where flanks need to start coming out here from Team 1. Unfortunately, the flanks come out from Live instead, who does manage to push Reduct off. And now Thermite down, that wall's going to stay secured.
Panic gonna claim a kill as well, so man advantage obviously still in Black Dragon's favor. Another Yokai drone will hit Luke right in his face, but he can't seem to find it. Switches back over to the 5.52 commando, but not before Skadina takes down Live. Only 8 seconds. They're gonna have to act quickly to try and get this diffuser down or make a play. Double kill, but it's gonna immediately get traded back off of the efforts of Black Dragons to take the round 5 after 3 kills.
That was pretty impressive given the fact that they gave astronomy control over to Team 1 and still were able to fight that. It just seemed like Team 1 didn't really know how to pressure without the wall being opened. They didn't have a Thatcher, obviously. They lost the Thermite, and I think it might have even gotten impact tricked on the one because they had the camera watching the Black Eye just before it died. Spotted they were going to open the wall, called for the impact tricking, took care of it. The Thermite not working out here at all for Reduct. Outside of the one time he did at least get the wall open before he got C4'd. And that's a big problem. That's why we talk about the Thatcher ban being so important. These walls staying up forces a lot of plays that are very uncomfortable to deal with. Reduct this time going to bring the Maverick. In some ways a little bit of a safer play because there's no impact tricking Maverick. I mean, I guess you could try and do some splash damage to him, but...
There's a major issue, though, and it's that he's the only hard destruction that they have.
And they could bring... That's the thing, is none of them are banned. You could bring all 3 in theory if you wanted to, and make sure you get it open. There's only so many impacts you can bring. There's only so much denial. Technically, you don't need Thatcher. If you have... The best part is if you have a player who's a really good fragger on Hibana, it doesn't have to be the main hard breach roll. It can be a backup hard breach roll. You can clear out all the impacts with the Thermite, because they're going to dedicate at least 2 impacts to clear those out, and then you can Hibana freely, because generally the teams aren't bringing 4, because they go, oh, well, you only need 2 really to stop this. And so, yeah, they have the tools available. This is what Kick was getting a little, I think, tilted by is the tools are available. You can bring 2 hard breachers. That's what we saw last time, was them not doing that on the snap. Like I said, they could do that.
It would help a lot, because the main thing is right now, obviously Maverick has to be next to the wall, Emzo, in order to complete his job. And I think guess how many nitro cells we have on the other side.
Yeah, at this point, you know, honestly, Jackal could technically do some of Buck's job, swap out the Buck for a second hard breacher, get someone that's good on Hibana to throw in there as well.
Oh, well, speaking of Jackal, this is dead again.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe the Buck is necessary if Jackal can't seem to stay alive on his own. Maybe he'll need those tweaks to the footprint system to be able to make it work for him. But Live is very aggressive on this Jackal. You know, similar to you see someone like Joystick, for example, one of those Jaeger players that just makes the map his. And Jackal is a counter to that, but the pings only do so much for you if he can get you before you catch his own footprints, because you might catch someone else's instead.
Yeah, Jaeger is very dangerous in the proper hands, and a lot of people have attempted, but a few have made it as impactful as quite a few of our Pro League players.
Yeah.
Oh, Fall's going to make a long angle here, but he's already taken quite a bit of damage, but you see Live has also taken some damage earlier on. This is more than likely going to be a slow-going round once again. Jackal's already dead. They have to worry about roam clear, and a lot of people have been droning themselves in. Solo droning, it's not the best way to handle things. Obviously, you know, working with your entire team, getting some information game, and trying to get aggressive off of that information as soon as you get it is the preferred way of handling things. But Fall's going to be trying to one-man army this as Skadina works his drone into the actual site here, into Aviator. Rest of the squad, though, more or less poised, actually in sight. We do have Live and Panic playing awfully close to Study. Live might be in some trouble here if he's droned out.
You know, to be honest, he's doing his job. He's got 1 kill already. He's burning time. Even if he dies right here, he's forcing them to spend a lot of utility to get in there. They might not even know he's down because you don't get the points in Pro League to see that. And because of that, look at how much still they're trying to focus on trying to finish him off. And he's going to get picked up, potentially here. They're actually baiting him at this point. This is still working out for Live. A minute left. And there goes Panico, though. At least there's that. And then Live finished off. So now Team 1, it's time management to try and win this.
The baitee becomes the baiter, and Luke is going to claim 2 kills off of that. Wag still has 1 toxic babe on his person as he chucks those near bust. Skadina going to take a little bit of damage after the bloom, but not enough to call home about just yet. Still have to try and get this execute on site, as we do see GDN rotating out as Kaid. Again, this TCSG shotgun, actually very good at range since it is rocking slug rounds instead of the regular shotgun rounds, but he's not going to need that when he has explosives. Oh, Falls actually as well claims a life, but it's not one he wants to find. Wag, what a shot! And then GDN put a nail in the coffin on this split here on Villa to start off the day.
Falls showing why you yell frag out when you're throwing those grenades. That was definitely, that cost them the round to an extent. I mean, still possible, could have gone the other way, but that was definitely, and Black Dragons, Wag especially with that flick that he had there, that was very impressive. Overall, great side for Black Dragons. 4-2 is not abnormal though, so it wasn't anything just completely out of the ordinary. The question is now, though, how this gets played here from Black Dragons on their attack. They're going to bring potentially the Lion and the Jackal here. Maverick for the Hard Breacher. We'll see, though. We've seen a fair amount of 6 picks, and there is one. I was talking about the sort of interchangeability of Buck and Jackal, and the clash is always interesting, especially on 90.
Yeah. I'll have to see what they do with that. They might play it inside of 90. Always could play it inside of Aviator as well to try and lock down the door to where no one could get a grip.
Actually, the weird part, of course, is that they are going to go Trophy, which is weird.
Yeah, it's a good start. I mean, you always want to try and mix things up, and actually, this could help them a lot. The offense only brought Maverick, as we were talking about earlier. That's very dangerous, especially with C4s on the other side. And we're going to have C4s on the other side. We're going to have Reduct playing Mute. That Nitro Cell could definitely bag him a kill if he's able to fit it over the top of the reinforcements.
The cool thing, too, is if you're Team 1, and you know you have them trapped in the master bedroom, the Clash actually falls into that because you can pressure the doorway. We saw it, for example, live just trying to peek it. The Clash can sit in the doorway and then call things out, and then someone can peek over or around and just get a kill.
It's actually hilarious that she's been in the game for almost a year at this point. Actually, a year at this point.
It's been that.
Yeah, she's been in the game for quite a while now, and it still seems that even at high competitive play, sometimes people don't know how to play around Clash.
Shate definitely tried to make it hard for them earlier, for those who saw EU, and that was on this map, and that definitely showed there's a lot of potential for it, but then he started getting shut down because people do somewhat know how to counter it. Zofia is in play, and that will certainly help, as Zofia and Captao being the two biggest counters to that Clash. So it is on PZD most likely to have to try and do it, unless they can pinch Falls. Entirely possible, though. It does happen quite often. But you can also get baited pretty hard by that shield when you're a little frustrated trying to take care of it. That, especially combined with an Echo, just getting stunned and pressure the shield is so frustrating to deal with.
Very annoying, especially when she's used as a mobile Mira or stuff like that, since her shield is clear. We've seen that a couple of times with spawn kills and things like that.
Yeah, better vision than you get from, say, Monty.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have him, you don't have to fully peek off of him. You can actually see what they're doing on the other side. So Clash helps out quite a bit. So you might see Luke could work in tandem with that Clash. Maybe once or twice if they do continue to play the operator, but for right now, she will just be locking down the top of Astronomy stairs.
The cool thing, too, for Falls is that while he's not immune to Lion, he might as well be, because you already know the position of Clash most of the time, so it's one operator now that doesn't have to worry so much about that. Likely also the Echo probably not going to care too much because he's likely to be in sight, but the Lion needs to be really well timed to make this worth it then, because I mean, again, there's two operators you might not even really do much to, and there's mute jammers as well that could help. There's the first E1D, though, and doesn't really find any kills, just freezes a little bit of positions. Thankfully, he has 2 more to work with, as no one's really found each other yet. Here, GDN's the only one taking damage, and that's just from this shield. And there he's going to take a little bit more potentially here from the taser. All he's doing is trying to hold Falls into place here, but no one else is really helping to make this worthwhile. GDN's just losing health and time for really not much gain. PZD, though, in the meantime, does find the smoke, and that's a really big benefit here.
I believe Rise just needs to slow down his game plan because he continues to get picked off first, especially his smoke. You should not be dying that early. And a Claymore, Reduct not having the eyes to spot the laser, and Panic's going to bag a kill because of it.
Definitely something he really should have been careful about, but you don't want to expect one there necessarily, and so good on Panic there. Skidini, though, to get one onto GDN now, advantage to Black Dragons, and they are already at the point lead, losing a shield there for Team 1 as well. They're getting pressured hard.
There's 4 people trying to attack right now. Falls is all by himself, shocking literally everyone as he continues to hold back the onslaught. Falls is still alive, tries to switch over. We're going to have a team kill, but at the end of the day, it'll be Black Dragons claiming round 7. Also some very, very weird instances.
That was like a piranha swarm at that point. He just became... and you usually see when Clash is in play, oftentimes the last operator left alive, similar sometimes to Monty. And there's only so much you can do against 4. Just the aggressive pushes to the Zofia use as well, hitting the Echo and the Clash. Stunning, just shock and awe. Maybe eventually the time on the window did pay off, just keeping him in Astronomy that whole time. Well done there. A great attack by Black Dragons in the end, just because the collapse was there, forcing them to really just hunker down in Astronomy. Absolutely did not work out for Team 1, and now they're really on the back foot, having lost their first defense round already. We're going to see a Goo Mines come out here as They do 6-pick over that, but now no real attempt to deny the wall outside of the mute jammers, which not going to do too much, but hey, at least without a Thatcher, those do stay up quite a bit longer. But those could pretty easily get bucked from below, potentially. So of course, they are going to have that buck. They're going to try the line again as well. I don't think that did too much for them, other than try to stop anyone from flanking if there's anyone left alive when they were trying to push the clash. But you know what? Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they won the round. Doesn't matter how useful those were. PZD, though. Look at that. 12. Almost twice every member on his team. As live just barely above that 6. But no one else on Team 1, even with 6 yet. Definitely PZD really helping things out here. And of course, you saw a lot of good plays from him on Valkyrie on defense. Definitely making it work here with the Zofia on attack, even with the team kills. So technically he has 13, if you count that from last round.
Yeah, definitely making things difficult for them. Team 1, though, in case you guys were wondering how the statistics are currently looking for LATAM's playoff, this map is actually of the utmost importance to them right now because FaZe is ahead of them by 2 points. So if they lose and FaZe wins, FaZe cannot win any. Well, actually, no, they're out. They are actually, in fact, out. If they lose this map at all, they can't even tie it.
Team 1 can overtake Ninjas in Pajamas in theory because they can get up to 28. Ninjas in Pajamas still at 27. Although how those matches fall down, it might be possible that they have to get a tie for it to work out in their favor, and then you end up in the tiebreaker situation. Ninjas in Pajamas and Team 1 actually are perfectly matched in terms of the tiebreaker. It would actually have to come down to overall rounds because they both won a match and it was both by the same amount of points, 3 points. So yeah, this is big for Team 1 to try and put pressure on Ninjas in Pajamas and to try and overtake FaZe.
Yeah, they really, really need this map. Again, if they lose this map, it's over. They cannot get enough points to pass anybody else up unless FaZe completely chokes and they get a tie or something along those lines.
Yeah, they could still potentially, because they could get up to 25 and FaZe are at 24 now. But
FaZe would have to lose both their next games, and they play INTZ today. So
yeah, and in a tie situation, Team 1 versus FaZe, Team 1 actually has the tiebreaker by 1 round.
They can't even get it unless they tie today.
Yeah, if they somehow ended up.
FaZe lose both games and they tie twice.
Yeah, I'm saying if that scenario happened, Team 1 actually have the favorable tiebreaker by 1 round.
Welcome to playoffs.
Absolutely. The last 2 weeks are pure insanity, especially in this schedule the way we do things now. Yeah. It's nuts. But unfortunately, not a whole lot has happened during the first minute and a half, just a lot of jockeying for position. That does benefit Team 1, though. They're actually looking pretty good here. Is still droning coming out from Black Dragons. But hey, at least they're not losing all their drones just yet. Flash is coming as they try and make pushes here. But Team 1 continue to burn time without being punished. A minute left now. This is really going to come down to a lot of pressure having to come out from Black Dragons very quickly, and PZD not going to be part of that. The top fragger now dropped out of the game. So remember that 12 he had when he comes back in, because we will likely have to rehost after this.
Oh, Fall's going to mess it up, and he gets taken down as well. Reduct able to hold things down over near Bus, though, and actually he's going to find a second one to tack on. All of a sudden, it's up to Panic as well as Wag to try and bring things back. Skadina will falter. So Wag rotates over to near the bar door. Line's going to go off once again. He knows that one's more than likely inside of Gunfall, but I believe he's looking the wrong way, and he is. Reduct with a triple in the round. Round 8 belongs to Team 1.
Well, definitely didn't help that PZ dropped. You got your top player on your team dropping out before the pressure, but they were already on a lot of time pressure at that point. So obviously we're going to have to go to rehost to get him back to the game. But that also means we have to put in 8 rounds worth of data, so it probably will take a little bit of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, going to take a little bit of time, so you guys will be seeing us here in just a second. But overall, the game so far, pretty slow goings for what I've been used to with LATAM.
Yeah.
And, you know, spectating it and casting it lands and stuff like that. Very slow goings, especially on the offense, which personally I am not used to at all.
To be honest, this is a very hard map to control. There's a part that's part of the reason why defense wins so well. The roam downstairs especially, very difficult to clear, and that's usually on a buck to deal with. We're not seeing the Jackal really run as much here on the attacks as well from 2-1, and that's hurting, I think, a little bit as well. You saw how slow that round was for them. That was very difficult. Black Dragons really had the advantage in terms of time there. I'm sorry, Team 1 had the advantage in terms of time because Black Dragons pushing so slow into that round and just not finding anyone. I mean, the amount of rotates you have, the flexibility on the map, the ability to drop down, rotate up those. I mean, you've got 3 floors even. The basement rarely gets cleared. And so you have that as an option to play down there, even more than, say, Consulate, where teams will use that. Because of that, roam clear and roam control so difficult, and that's why you see these attacks so slow.
Yeah, again, I think it's a very difficult thing. I don't really know why they would go to Villa of all the maps. I assumed we were going somewhere a little bit more aggressive, especially for LATAM. I really felt Bank maybe on the line between
that was one of
these
the
two
early
teams.
bans.
Yeah, and that was one of the early bans, so definitely didn't want to play it. Maybe just not in the cards for one of the respective teams. But as of right now for Villa, we're probably not going to see either one of these teams use this at LAN anytime soon because it's very slow going.
If they make it there.
Yeah, the offensive side of each of these teams on this map is just not very good. And the main issues is that they're just not working together, and the Thatcher ban is really hurting both of these teams.
Yeah, that is definitely, I mean, it doesn't really seem worth it. In theory, Team 1 should be by far the favored team on this map because of their record on it. They have a draw and a win, whereas all you saw from Black Dragons in terms of their previous play was just 2 losses. To be fair, though, that was against the same team, so I don't know if that indicates their overall Villa play or just how well they stack up against FaZe. At least one of those was a close 5-7 for them, so they are decent at this map, and it's showing because they're actually, putting a lot of hurt here on Team 1. So, now that Team 1 is on the defense, they should have the ability to bring this back. They really should, and hopefully this rehost gives them the opportunity to think about what they can do to continue to play off of that win, that round win, and just play from there. Obviously, PZD dropping was part of that round win, but the time management as well. Just delay the way that Live was, for example. If they can continue to do that, Team 1 can bring this back, and they can potentially win it because they got 2 rounds on their attack, which was kind of the mandatory thing to do. They've got at least that 1 round win we just saw. They can bring this back, and could even end up in a draw situation because there's been a lot of draws in Latin America.
The issue is right now, though, is that Black Dragons is at 5 rounds, which is 1 away from forcing a tie as the best opportunity for Team 1 to get any points. And the issue with that is that you're asking to be perfect in a game that is far from. It is extremely difficult to be perfect inside of Rainbow Six Siege. You make 1 misstep, and the entire round falls apart in your hands.
And just look at what happened earlier with G2. They had some rounds where it was just like they should have been fine and just fell apart, and it can happen to the best teams. Empire has struggled as well. Like, we know these teams are capable of it, but they don't always have the performance, or the things just dominoes collapse and doesn't happen.
You said you weren't going to spoil, but then you halfway spoiled.
I didn't say what the result was. Come on.
I mean, you can 1-1 is 2.
I said some rounds.
1-1 is 2.
You already know the results. You watched.
Yeah, you watch. Everyone watches Europe. You guys know what the results are. Don't lie to us.
But anyways, I think
no spoilers though.
Team 1 could get shut out of this though. They could get shut out of Japan here. I think Black Dragons are putting up a really good fight on this map. Obviously, they probably paid attention as well to how Team 1 played it before, having played this map twice for both of them. But they also, the other way around. They obviously both studied each other, and the Thatcher ban really messes them up on this map. But Latin America in general, sometimes just Latin America's attacks in general are coordinated in a bit different manner than we see in other regions, and I think sometimes that really can get thrown off by things like Thatcher bans that really make it hard to focus your attack. We see Latin America attacks really just get spread out, and you see people droning for themselves and things like that, and that really hurts. And so when you get a Thatcher ban in there and a defensive-sided map already, this really should favor Team 1 to come back on this. And if they can't capitalize on that, then they, I hate to say it, but they don't deserve to go to LAN at this point. If they can't bring it back in this situation, if they can't coordinate and, shut down PZD as often as possible really is the thing, because he's kind of carrying that team on their back right now.
This might have been a gift from the heavens, honestly, that PZD got disconnected and they were able to fight back inside of this round to keep things, still at the point where they could possibly go to LAN.
Yeah.
With this break, you're actually able to talk to your team. The coach can step in, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the coach can step in at home, but you don't want to do that. That's bad practice because when you get to LAN, he can't just talk to you the entire time.
The example of, some of the team houses where they do that is like BKN and Dark Zero. Still only steps in maybe between rounds or maybe at the end, not necessarily during a round. You don't want to clutter their comms and stuff like that. So, and you can't do that at LAN, as you said. So, yeah, it is important to know how to do that. And there's been a lot of LANs for Latin America to understand how to play. BR6 used to be entirely on LAN. Even the first season of Pro League here for Latin America was entirely on LAN. So they've definitely got a lot of LAN practice, so I don't think they're likely to make those kind of mistakes. But Team 1 is a newer team. When they came up, I don't think there was, just LAN for all that. So they might not be as comfortable, even if they do make it. As you said, though, they did pretty good in Vegas, so we know they can play to an extent at LAN. But they've got to get there first, and it's not looking like they're doing it just yet. So, I mean, PZD back in as well, so luckily, you know, he rebooted his computer, whatever it was is good. So they've got to, like you said, use this break. Both teams really need to use this to kind of figure out what they need to do. Thankfully, we got all the data back in. We're starting the match back up. Assuming everything is correct, we'll finish this out soon here. But a lot of pressure on Team 1 because on the back foot at potential for Japan here for them.
Yeah, definitely a big deal right now. And again, they have to go perfect. Going to be very, very difficult. We do have the lobby started back up. We're just making sure that everything is A-okay before we throw it right back in, guys. So just give us a moment here. But again, the scoreline currently is 5-3 in favor of Black Dragons. If Black Dragons get one more round, Team 1's hopes and wishes die with the map of Villa after it's completed.
Yep. Rice just teasing the play of the Caveira. Not going to happen. There's the castle instead. An interesting choice we don't see often. One roam control operator to the other. Panico going to the Nomad. So both teams trying to like outthink each other at this point. This is a bomb site they've already played once and lost. The trophy was the very first defensive site they played, which I still think this is one of the. I feel like this is the second worst bomb site on this map. Just off of like I've seen so much better play on Kitchen overall. Like again, I've said this before, and the match that I said it during seemed to play that out. That dining is better. Maybe it's just because teams are less practiced on attacking it, whatever. But I feel like, you know, library is by far the worst. That's definitely the worst.
That's a garbage site.
But I think this one is just above it because just teams have it figured out pretty well, and it depends so much on controlling mostly astronomy. See if this alibi really pays off. Here's the first one we've seen as well.
This is different.
This is a lot committed
this is
to Aviator.
5 reinforcements dedicated to Aviator. That
You
is
better hope they
half of
push
their
it.
reinforcements.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 castle barricade setups, 2 reinforcements on the trophy to master wall, and then a rotate made with a deployable shield. So this is either going to go very well, Emzo, or very, very, very bad.
Yeah, this is a pocket strat. And in a match where you're denying with no Thatcher, dedicating all of your walls over to, I mean, not literally all of them, but most of your walls to the off-site is an odd choice. This is a very pocket strat kind of play here. And that's what I guess you expect coming out of a break like that.
This is going to be a major issue because of the castle barricade setup that they have.
Yeah.
There's plenty of soft destruction to be able to get rid of this, especially in the hands of PZD, who's been playing so well so far for Black Dragons. Some very weird angles made by the defense could throw this offense off guard just because they don't know the angle exists. Could bag them some early kills, but again, this is very treacherous waters.
This is all about good droning and good grenades as well from Live.
Falls, why are you there, my friend?
He was just trying to continue to put pressure on them to burn time, and just like Redux trying to do here, but yeah, it didn't work. Great grenade play there, and that will definitely cost. Oh, you see potential engagements coming out here from quite a few different spots on stairs as well as Redux holding an angle. He's gotten droned multiple times now. Finally decides to fall off. But there's that angle, but a shield to try and help with it. So, I mean, I appreciate that, but the drone keeps spotting him, and unless he can deny that, he's just going to continue to get droned out. Grenades try and do some work as well. That's the second and final grenade from Live, but they still, I imagine, got some impacts or at least stuns from the lifeline of PZD.
Pretty big time waste here, but the only hard destructor they have is Maverick, so you can't just run up and thermite the wall open or something along those lines.
Yeah.
They're going to have to use a torch.
And that's not going to work with that shield in the hole there.
No, it's not. So very, very dangerous if they want to try and go that avenue. Instead, they're going to go for Astronomy, and it's the entire squad stacked up right now. They completely destroy the desk and destroy Rise's face as well. Lukid's on a fast rotate now through the basement. He needs to get back to site to be able to assist his teammates as he's coming up the pantry stairs. Excuse me. He's going to be coming up the red stairs, but Weg's going to find a kill in the process of me talking about that. Lukid's still on rotate. He needs to get upstairs in order to help out his teammate because Skadina just got droned out, and there's still 5 people with guns trying to kill him. Locking down the staircase, though. Skadina falters. Lukid's offsite. All of their lands, hopes, and wishes ride on this man. He claims 2, but it's going to have to be a 1 versus 5 to bring this all the way back. The MX-4 Storm, such a fantastic weapon in the proper hands. Great rate of fire, but nobody going to be on the receiving end of it just yet. Already, once again, finding 2 kills. Has 3 to find as that timer continues to tick down. Almost at the halfway margin here, as sooner or later, all of their hopes and dreams are going to be whisked away. Challenges bathroom, gets shot by the 552 Commando as he challenges once again, and that's going to be it, folks. All of their hopes and wishes die in that round, and if they continue on down this path, Black Dragons will win it out. They'll get no points, and it even makes it more difficult. It's going to be all on FaZe to completely fall in their next 2 games. Otherwise, Team 1 is locked out of the playoffs.
Well, now the maximum amount of points Team 1 can get is 26. NiP is at 27, but FaZe are only at 24, so it's still possible.
They just have to lose twice.
Yeah, but it starts to become in other people's hands at that point. So they've definitely lost their potential edge that they had because they were only 2 points behind FaZe. Now they're definitely going to be in a much dire situation because this can only put them just 1 point behind FaZe if they tie this. But honestly, I'm not seeing the tie coming. Black Dragons are playing on point today, just especially with PZD doing so well. And Lukid trying to have to like 1v4 post plant. It's just, or 1v3, whatever it was. Such a, tough spot to be in. And yeah, look at that. He's at home with any kills there at this point after the rehost as well.
I just want to pull it back to this, especially for Team 1. Rise has just not been able to find his footing at all today.
Yeah.
Even in the play in that last round, with your guys' setup, why are you inside of the master bedroom closet? Why are you there?
Yeah, that was...
You're not going to be able to hide. They're going to get a drone in there. You're going to get droned out. And then they don't even have to peek you. You die to a frag grenade. You did nothing. You didn't waste really any time.
I think you identified something important, though. Black Dragons are droning so much better than Team 1.
Oh, absolutely. Team 1 doesn't even know a drone exists.
And I mean, to be fair, that's part of the reason they were so slow on that second attack, was because they were droning so much.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right. What? What? That is a highlight clip right there. What was that?
That is
That
is the most ranked
and
run out.
PZD. He might have just saved this round. Oh my goodness, that is getting used in ranked if it wasn't already.
Oh, that is a ranked run out as ranked run out gets. That falls right on the staircase that they come up initially when you come up from that spawn, Emzo. So it falls right onto that staircase. And
but to get
blow it up.
2 and one of them PZD, that has got that right there. He's using both hands to pat himself on the back after that, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Totally worth it. And then Skadinia following it up onto live. They don't have the manpower to fight this unless Team 1 just goofs.
Where was this aggression from Team 1 before this round? Like when it really, truly mattered. Because right now, again, you're putting the power in other people's hands, and you don't want to do that.
You know what, though? Fight back.
Yeah, fight back. Again, why not at this point, you know? Skadina going to bag a second kill and then a triple after a quick 180. It's going to be a flawless round for Team 1.
Wow.
But again, it begs the question, where was this in the prior rounds?
If they had shown this earlier, it'd be so much of a different outcome right now. Just, wow, fantastic play there that round. But the C4 is really what set that up. That was, I mean, that was somewhat lucky as well, but he also might have identified they spawn there from previous rounds, from cameras and things like that. He might have known it wasn't necessarily just like a lottery draw, but it was the right play at the right time and it worked. Can't imagine that's going to work this round as well. This is very likely to be the last round, unless that just tilted Black Dragons off the planet. And that's possible.
I don't think it tilted Black Dragons off the planet. They probably just died to the Nitro Zone like, oh, well, we didn't expect that to happen in Pro League, so no, it happens. It's a very risky run out if you know what's going to happen. But we also have some other risky gameplay coming in, guys. We're going to have Nook picked up, everyone's new favorite operator to rant and rave about when she does get picked up. She'll be in this round, though, and this might possibly be the thing to push it over the edge. Now, the main issue is that they are running a little bit of information, but they have a couple of counters here. So the main one I'm going to talk about is Pulse and Lukid, because Lukid's been setting the world on fire in kills, as he always does. But the main issue is Nook might be able to hide from cameras, Emzo, but she can't stop her heartbeat.
No, unfortunately, and I think Mute Jammers might even counter it a little bit as well.
If she walks near them, it makes the disruption effect like when she walks through barbed wire.
And so really all you're going to be hiding from is those black eyes. That's it. That's all you're going to get. And I don't think that's enough, but if you watched EU earlier, you saw how insane Nook can be if they're depending on that information, but they have to be, of course.
Again, here's the thing. A lot of people were asking, is Nook going to be good for Pro League? She's a niche operator. She's very good at one thing.
Yeah.
She's very good at one thing, and it's, are they relying on information? Fantastic, you pick Nook.
Yeah. If your aces are Slash, play it. Well,
you still can't play it every round. Like if you're expecting it,
Aces
sure
tried. He didn't even six-pick to it after a while. So yeah, if you're feeling ballsy and really good at it, it can work. But yeah, you're right. It is more often than not.
It's a flash in the pan operator. Yeah.
We'll see though. This is of course match point for Black Dragons. All it has to work for is one round.
I completely agree with you, my friend. completely agree with you on that. You just need it to have a major impact. If you're able to get 2 kills and you just walk at sight because you're Nook.
You can get traded at that
yeah,
point.
absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the operator's trash, because she's not. The FNG-9 is not the best weapon on the planet, but she has an amazing utility piece that is great for countering out information. The issue is, though, is that Lucan exists.
And he's looking.
Playing Pulse.
Yeah, he's got 2. He's going for the C4. Oh, nope. He decides not to. He's afraid of being pushed from the side. He's really concerned about his flanks, and there's not really any cameras or anything else to set up to help him. And that's the problem, is he's kind of alone in this. But at the meantime, though, they don't know he's here. They're not playing the Jackal or anything to track him. They're not looking for him.
Oh,
he's
that's a
freebie.
Oh,
What?
Is that on a hard flooring?
It might have been,
the flooring up here was... Oh, he's right inside Master.
You gotta know the map inside and out to be a Pulse main.
I thought I knew the lineup myself, and it was just a little wrong, and Panic will claim his life downstairs after Lucan can't find him. Yeah, he killed his own counter, and it's going to continue on down the line as Reduck falls off. That's the Valkyrie, but now you have people all on cams. And this might make this even more difficult for the defense, because it was, as we were talking about, Nook can't get spotted by cameras. Rise will burn a little bit of utility, but not going to find him anything. GDN, quite a bit of damage dealt to him, but not going to be fatal just yet.
Well, so far looking pretty Black Dragons here. I mean, GDN on low health, but that's enough health here. He can definitely still spot any gadgets he needs to, but there's not a lot he needs to. There's no echo, so, you know, if he dies, not a huge impact here.
If you're a Team 1 fan, you need Skadina to stand up right now. He has to be able to fight back. GDN, again, low health, so the 416C definitely going to be able to do its due diligence if it does come down to that gunfight. But yeah, actually, it's going to be him. I assumed it was going to be the Toxic Babe, but not going to be as much. So trying to hold back quite a bit of people standing over your bust.
Yeah, that was just the IQ, and then traded back again, falls. Getting a second one with the shotgun. They are holding sight, and it's 15 seconds left here. Rise trying to hold an angle. He gets one onto live. Now down to a 3v2. Time running out. This Nook, hell, is not going to help you here. You're going to walk just blink. Nope.
5 seconds left.
No one's going to take a shot. Skadini finally finds another one. PZD, last man, can he clutch it? He gets falls, and that's not enough. Team 1 keep themselves in this 1 round longer, and the draw actually close to happening here.
Black Dragons had that in the bag.
They sure did.
They just gave every single person on the defense once with no information.
I got to imagine
no idea where anyone is, and just walked at them.
They were just arguing over comms probably at that point. Just trying to decide how to push, and honestly, I fault the IGL for that right there.
Oh, completely. That's very, very rough. That should not have happened. You're 5-man up against 3, against operators are already banged up and bruised.
Yeah.
Utility burnt, and you just walk at them?
Yeah.
I mean, you had 2 smokes to burn, Emzo. That's all you had. That's 20 seconds. That's it.
They definitely could have made that work. And that is unfortunate for Black Dragons, but hey, they're still in the winning position. They can still just win this round, and that's it. But if they lose this round, yeah, that's not great. I mean, I don't think they're likely to end up in the relegation position necessarily, and they're not going to Japan, so Black Dragons don't have as much on the line as Team 1 do right now. So if Team 1 can just focus up like they did the last round...
They're just trying to play devil's advocate. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah. No, Red Devils are not here anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's Elevate now.
Yeah. Still throws me off, just that. I'm sure Red Devils will have a new team next season.
I saw that clip. Where you were just like, oh, yes, and Red Devils. And Gassan's like, it's Elevating. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
I still have them as Red Devils in my sheets because it would change partway through, too, so it throws me off a little bit. Because teams change orgs a lot during the middle of the season.
Yeah, that's been happening quite often recently, but we've been gaining a lot of traction with bigger organizations. We always appreciate, the esports scene getting larger, as we all love Rainbow Six Siege and just want to see how far this game can go. And right now, one of the biggest FPSs in the entire world, so you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, I certainly am. Having been a little scared during year 1 that this could, maybe not take off the way it has, and whoo, it certainly has. And it's good to see teams like orgs like Team 1 and Black Dragons have both had multiple teams now, so they are sticking with Pro League. And that's
Navi as well.
Navi as well, yeah, and I love to see that. Obviously, Team 1 would love to see themselves in Japan as well, but it is looking like that might be out of reach here if they can't make some serious plays. And now that there's the Echo, it is likely to get spotted by the IQ. So GDN, definitely important job here. See him playing that window. They are bringing breach charges as well to try and... Why didn't he use the one there? He didn't necessarily need to go with that. Definitely could have used the breach. But I guess a little bit of time saver. Lion going to come out as well to try and lock things down. Still 2 grenades in Live's pocket. We saw how well he did with them last time on this attack. It's entirely possible here because Fall's playing again somewhat aggressive, but a little safer this time. And ADS going to save potentially his life there from a grenade. Also got Reduct trying to cover here, and they're holding Astronomy hard from that window, but they've really got to concentrate on their timing and how they're covering each other, because if GDN sees an opening, he's going to take it.
Black Dragon's extremely slow on the windup, and quite a few issues with utility use. We burned an EU1D with no one getting aggressive. There was no information for it, just used it to use it. Burned some impacts when we didn't need to, when we have breaches, and again, it's match point. This is for a tie, and Rise is going to get the first kill. It just appears that Black Dragons is going to lay down at this point. Very weird instances have been happening between these two teams, and it's really coming down to just utility in very weird ways. And speaking of utility, Panic's going to use some lead to spray down Falls.
Definitely good on him, just kind of silently taking that, but that's time burning here. They've only got a minute left. At least 1 EE, 1D left after that. But they need to start to set up for a push here. And Rise is going to really help with that for the defenders here. GDN going down now. That's a very important kill. And then gets a second onto WAG. And there we go, a third. And just Team 1 bringing the tie. Keeping themselves in this with 1 point. Now it's up to FaZe to really try and crush their opportunities. Liquid as well could try and jump up there. But it is not as much in Team 1's hands as they would like. But they still have some potential here to get there. They're just not going to overtake NIP now. So NIP's position as well